Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, I think we're all under the impression that this is his last season at Liverpool. It's probably the Jurgen Klopp transfer that just hasn't worked out. There's been a report from John Cross of the Mirror, who's quite reliable. He's the chief football writer for the Mirror. He has claimed that Steven Gerrard has put Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain on red alert, with Liverpool ready to sell him this summer, and Gerrard is a long-term admirer. First of all, before we talk crap about Oxlade-Chamberlain and how rubbish he is, Matty, what do you think this is I think this is a good move for Oxlade-Chamberlain. I just don't think it would be a great move for Aston Villa, considering how many, midfielders they've got at the moment. I know they're selling Douglas Luiz, but, unless the likes of John McGinn leave, I just can't see this happening. Can you?
I can't see it happening, to be honest with you, because the Ox grew up idolising Gerrard. So imagine in his twilight years just getting that knowledge off Gerrard if he was looking at going into coaching and stuff. I can see it happening, but yeah, they've just bought another midfielder as well, haven't they, from Marseille, Kamara or something like that?
Yeah, old midfielder, yeah.
And he
good signing, that,
He looks all right. So, and then they've already had a decent midfield, to be fair. Aston Villa, they need to make a few tweaks here and there. I think it was more defence, to be honest with you, that they needed to focus on. And I think it'd be a mad move for Villa's perspective. I think that just means that they're probably having a massive overhaul of the midfield if he's bringing in several midfielders. But it's what Stevie knows best. If he brings it in, the Ox would improve Villa's midfield because he's coming in with the winner mentality. He's a player who has been around the side that's won absolutely everything. It's the perfect player to bring in, and I think he'd be decent to have Villa, to be fair. I think he'd play well with Coutinho and he'd get minutes there. And I've said all season, no hard feelings to the Ox, to be fair. If he goes, he goes, and I do think he will go, and fair play to him.
Yeah, I mean, Tino, he's got 1 year left on his contract. He's in the same boat as a lot of Liverpool players, Naby Keita, Firmino, Salah, Mane. He's just, James Milner starting over him at this point. I think he's probably the last midfielder we would play, and it's just time for him to move on, isn't it?
It certainly is. It's been a really unfortunate Liverpool career as a whole. It started off quite well, and then just injuries have just really cut him down, and he's really struggled to get game time. It is a shame, because I think he seems like a nice guy, and he's certainly a talented player. Someone like Villa kind of, I don't think makes sense. From the player's perspective, as you've already touched on, I don't know how much game time he's going to get there. Maybe someone like West Ham, I think, may be interested. I could imagine him going to West Ham, but again, I would like him to stay from my heart, because I think he's a very good player. But when you're not starting and you've got 38-year-old James Milner, or however the hell old he is, playing in front of you, and you've got Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott playing in front of you, when you're meant to be that explosive, that attacking player who's really gonna give us something different in terms of goals from the midfield, you really do have to leave. He's not getting any younger at 28 years old. He's meant to be in the peak of his career right now, and I just don't see it happening. He needs consistent game time. He's not going to get that at Liverpool, and it makes total sense for him to leave at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, there's been a few rumours about him potentially being part of a Jarrod Bowen swap. Doesn't make any sense to me. I think that probably only takes off about 10 million, if we're lucky, of the Jarrod Bowen deal. But, I don't think Aston Villa is the right club for him, but I think someone like Newcastle or West Ham, who need, someone who can just pick the ball up, and because at the end, when Oxlade-Chamberlain is good, he's very good. before he got injured with Roma, against Roma, he was a very vital part of the team. But he's just not Liverpool quality anymore, is he? Unfortunately.
No, he's not, mate. You hit the nail on the head. Before the Roma injury, he was playing really well. Carried the ball great for us. His games against City always stand out for me. Thought he was brilliant in them games, but since then, mate, it reminds me a bit of Robbie Keane when, you know, a player tries too hard that they just mess everything up. They don't play the natural game. And I get why he does that, because he doesn't get chances, and when he does, I think he tries too hard. But I think his day's welcome at Liverpool, mate. Every time he's on the pitch, I just scream, to be honest, at him, because he's doing stupid things. I'll be honest as well, I don't think West Ham and Newcastle will be looking at someone like him. I think they'll be looking for someone better, in truth. Newcastle have got crazy money now. Guimaraes has had a boss impact there, been really good. So I imagine they're going to want to sign players of a similar ilk. And to be fair to West Ham, they've just reached the Europa League semis. They've got Souček, Lanzini, Rice. I know Rice is probably going to get off, but I think even they can attract a better player than Ox. I'd argue the form Lingard was in for West Ham on that loan, out of the two, if you were picking, you'd probably rather have Lingard than Ox, which might be controversial to some of them being a mank, but you know, his performances at West Ham don't lie. He was brilliant that second half of the season. He was there.
Yeah, the one thing, I don't think he gets a move to a top 10 Premier League club where he starts, but I do think he gets a move as like the first rotational midfielder, which is...
I think Southampton would be a good move for him.
Yeah,
it's where he started.
Yeah, but even if he is like the first option off the bench, it's better than what he's getting now. And another thing is, though, he's not going to get the money that he's getting at Liverpool, so he's going to have to take a pay cut if he wants to. And if he stays here for another year, then we know he just wants the money. But if we were to sell him this year, I'll just put this open-ended question out for anyone to answer. How much do you think we could get for him? We signed him for 40 million, so keep that in mind. But I'll put that out for anyone.
15, I'd take it.
10, 15.
Yeah, I'd take 15.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with 15.
So for the Ox, Newcastle wouldn't be a bad shout, because if they come in for him, I reckon they'd have a good impact on him, in a sense of that's where Perry's from, innit?
She's from South Shields, which is
they've just done that. So stuff like that comes, like, people don't think about it, but stuff like that comes into play for football, moving clubs. So, or maybe they go down to London, where he's from. Is he's from London?
Yeah,
no, I think.
Isn't he?
I don't think he is. You know,
No,
Newcastle could pay his wages as well, Matty.
Yeah, and it's a good option for Newcastle as well. He's certainly better, I think, on his day than some of their midfield options. He's probably the next step for Newcastle.
He's from Portsmouth, so yeah.
Actually.
So
does anybody can afford him?
Does anybody see him moving out of the Premier League to a different league?
No, and I'll tell you why. I think Newcastle's a great shout because of Perry. They've just had a kid. You know, if they move up, then and people are going to be like, "Oh, this doesn't play a part." I think it generally does. You know, if he moves to Newcastle, they're going to be closer to her family. And, you know, even if he's not close to his family, it's not that far difference, like an extra hour or two. So, you know, I think Newcastle will be a great move. I think they could pay his wages. They'd be able to sign him for 10, 15 million. Yes, he might be a rotational player, but it's a good sign for him. And, you know, I think we'd be able to probably get them up to the 15 million, maybe.
Could probably get them 20, 25 with any hours in charge. You paid 29 million for 20, so.
Yeah, so I think that would be a good move for him.